Hello.
Good morrow.
Good morrow. Wow, dude, you sound great.
Do I?
Yeah, I know you're streamer man, so obviously your mic quality is gonna be nice, but you sound. I'm getting worked up. That's what I'm trying to say. That's funny. Let me see here. Let me do that. You definitely sound good to me, but to those listening, compared to the music and myself, let me know if Shiny is coming across well. But
Mic check 1 2.
That guy sitting on the swing park, it touched me, thinking no one wants to game/include me. So I appreciate the invitation always. I see. Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. Clearest quality of any interview. A little louder than you, but great otherwise. Okay, no problem. I can turn it down just a smidgen. Okay. We should be good. So, Shiny, I think this may be one of the first times. Is this the first time that we're speaking voice to voice right now?
Most likely. I think maybe the only other time might be when Zach did like the robot derby thing, but that's not technically direct. But other than that, I think it's the first time.
Yeah, I think so too. So, hello. Hi, my name is James. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Shiny. Nice to meet you too.
Fantastic. Let me organize myself a little bit here. Okay. So before we get started here, I do want to make sure that I have your confirmation that if I were to go back and save our conversation here, would that be okay with you?
That would be 100% a-okay.
Cool. And once I do save it, I will likely highlight it to where it's just your portion specifically. If you wanted to grab that as well, to post in like your Discord or do anything you want with it, you're more than welcome to do that too.
Okay, cool. Sounds like a plan. I might do that.
Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, to anyone who may be uninitiated, go ahead and tell us who you are. So your name, whether you want to provide your real one or not, your alias, your nickname, just generally, who are you?
So my real name is Vincent, but no one calls me that exception for like work and maybe like one of my friends I've known since elementary school. Other than that, everyone's calls me Shiny. I've had that nickname probably since freshman year of high school, and it's just stuck with me for years.
Wow, since high school, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. So since we're on introductions here, obviously I know you through Zach's community, but I honestly don't really know the origin stories of too many people. So how did you come to know Zach?
So when I first started streaming, there was a couple people that I met through all my high school friends. We were playing Fortnite, and then he introduced me to these two people. One of them was Matt Zilla. And when I was starting to get into streaming, he's like, oh man, I think there's someone you really would like. I think you have a really good sense of humor like him. His name's Wavy. I was like, all right, yeah, sure, bet. I'll check him out. So I watched him, and I remember, like, I think when I first started watching him, I want to say he was probably playing Trials Unleashed, and it just loved being there. I just liked watching what he did, and I just really like took him on as like kind of like an inspiration for like kind of like where I kind of wanted to head for like streaming wise type thing. And yeah, that's where I was.
Fantastic. Wow, that's great to hear. Around what time? Do you remember the year that this occurred?
Ooh, 2017, maybe. Actually, here, I'm not gonna lie, I'm in his chat right now, so I'll tell you right now if I click it on my name.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I started following him 2018, end of 2018.
I see. Wow. Truckee asked, how did you get the nickname Shiny in high school?
Oh. So what was it? It was an episode of Jimmy Neutron, and it was an episode where he made himself dumb. I forget exactly how he did it, but there was like a stupid ray or something that he made, and he reflected it on himself by accident. So he made himself super dumb. And I just remember him just saying, he was looking at a toaster, and he just, ooh, shiny. I like shiny. I'm just like, all right. I just kind of just took that, and I just made the name the Shiny One, and that's just where it came from. That's really the origin of it. There's nothing super goofy or funny about it. Just was like, I just thought it was really, really funny.
No, that's actually a great origin story. I love it a lot, actually, because mine, I essentially don't have one. My name is Superman Hero Boy, and I didn't even come up with my name. My brother did, and he didn't even come up with a name. He actually yoinked it from watching a YouTube video of this guy. He was playing like GTA Online. They were on Xbox, and he saw the name Superman Hero Boy, and he was like, "Oh, that's a cool name. You should make sure to get that on other platforms." And so my brother yoinked it because he liked the name.
Oh my god.
And so now here we are.
That's so good. Yeah, I will say I'm pretty fortunate that for the most part, when I try to go for my name on most platforms, it is not taken. There are a few. I think the two that I can't get is Snapchat, which I'm like, fine, whatever. I have to put an underscore in between, like, before the one, and then I think for EA Games, I don't know, for some reason I couldn't do it, so like I had to put like an open bracket on both sides. But other than that, I've been pretty fortunate about be able to keep my name across the board.
I see. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing. Yeah, that was change your name to Superman Hero Boy. It's got a zing to it.
Oh, that's good.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
Oh man. See, you know what the thing is too, though. Whether it's Zackshot or elsewhere, everyone spells Herald differently. People will put the A. Well, actually, I guess due to the meme, it makes the most sense to be Herald, because the reason why the name occurred, I don't know if you're aware. Did I tell this? Were you there when I told this story?
No, but what's funny is actually I was gonna. I vaguely remember I was gonna ask because I didn't 100% remember.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So, the game Pokemon Unite came out, and so I try to go in as Hero Boy. That's usually the name that I try to use when I create names anywhere. I do Hero Boy. It was taken inside of Unite, and so I had to come up with something else. And I was like, dude, I don't know what to put. Superman Hero Boy didn't fit. There was like a character restriction. So I was like, okay, I can't be Hero Boy. I'll be Hero Lad, right? But the font inside of Pokemon Unite, especially when you're loading into the game, is so awful that it's scrunched up and it just looks like Harold. And so like I'd go into these Pokemon Unite matches and you would just think my name is Harold. And so Zach and I played that game for a bit. That's also when I got to play with B a good amount. And then the name just stuck. The name has stuck since.
That's really good. That's really good.
And it's funny too, because obviously it just came from like a bit of a meme. But then some people in Zach's chat thinks my real name is Harold. And they're like, what? Your real name's not Harold?
I did for the longest time. I forget when I found out your name was James. I was like, get the hell out of here. What is this?
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. Wait, it's not? Lol? Hawkins, you literally had two extended conversations with me where my name in Discord is right there. What do you mean, wait, it's not, you silly head? I discovered it when Zach admitted it wasn't. Yeah, I think I'm fine with it. I love when people like rediscover that, because when people don't know, like me and especially that like if or not I stream, and they only like know of me from the way Zach calls me out on stream, why would you not think my name is Harold? You see Superman Hero Boy, but he says Harold, so surely you would just think that my real name is Harold. So yeah. But enough about me. This interview, I want it to be about you, Mr. Shiny. So now that we got our introductions out of the way, I have some basic questions for you. With that, beginning with, what's your favorite color?
I would say probably purple and gold. Probably more purple, I would say, would probably be more my favorite. But I like the two of them together.
I see. Very nice, very nice. The colors of royalty. So that's cool. I like it. Would you say that you have a favorite time to eat your meals? By that, I'm asking like breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
I usually don't eat breakfast. I not right now because I kind of threw my keto away at the moment. I'm trying to get back on track trying to get back on track in maybe like a week or two.
Mhm.
But I usually would do intermittent fasting, so I pretty much would eat based on my work schedule. Before I took my current position, I would do eat between 12 o'clock noon to 8 o'clock p.m. at night. So yeah, I ended up skipping pretty much breakfast for the most part. That just worked for me for the
I
most.
see.
Pretty good.
Okay, cool. On the topic of your favorite color, Truckee asks, "Are you a Lakers fan?"
No, I don't care about sports whatsoever.
That's funny. All right, honest. I like that. Let me move on and say, what would you say consumes most of your free time currently?
Family.
Oh.
That's really what it comes down to. Because I mean, like, it's, work is work, but outside of that, pretty much, I would say when I get home, when I get off of work, I'm pretty much spending time with my kids, my wife, and then probably like around like 10 o'clock at night is when I usually have my time. But yeah, I would say most of the time my awake time is just hanging out with my family, just either watching stuff on TV, watching a movie, going out doing walks, going to the park, things like that.
I see. Yeah, for sure. Makes a lot of sense. Since it seems that a lot of your time is occupied, another question that I have is there a hobby that you think you'd want to have but you have not engaged in yet?
I would say I don't know. I don't know if I would really consider it a hobby per se, but it would be a skill I would like to pick up, I guess. Kind of like to do it like as a hobby thing. I would like to be able to like learn like how to edit videos, that type of thing. That's something I always wanted to do, and I tried so many times to try to pick it up and just do it, and I just I never have the patience to sit down and actually do it. But that would be something that I would want to actually end up trying to learn. I think as a hobby would be pretty fun, making like quick, like not like the streamer sense or anything like that for YouTube wise or anything like that. But I think it'd be nice to like make like little family montages and things like that, because Google and all this stuff, they do like, oh, here's a nice little clip show that we made for you. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's pretty cookie cutter, but I like to make my own type of thing for like memories and stuff with my family.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's admirable in a way for sure. That's a good answer. I like it. Okay, so moving on then, I want to also ask, did you have a favorite toy or game as a kid?
Favorite toy. I can't think of a favorite toy because I really don't remember playing with toys too much when I was a kid, because basically after third grade I remember getting an N64 and that kind of took me off like on the video game path. So that's pretty much where it went for. I would say probably like I would say I was like, as a kid, I would say game I think would be Star Fox 64. I remember getting my N64 for my birthday, and I remember having to get up at like 7 o'clock, and then I would have to get on the bus around like 8:15, 8:30, I think, for elementary school. I remember asking my parents, like, as soon as I get up, like, can I play a little bit? And they're like, okay, like, really at 7 in the morning, you really want to play games right now? I'm like, yeah. I was just obsessed with it for so long.
That's awesome, actually. That's so cute. Trekkie saying editing takes such a long time. The average saying is 4 hours for 1 minute of professional editing. I can imagine that, especially being the case in like movies and other such shenanigans. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then let's change it. That's gonna take too long. Then I would really like to pick up. I would like to do more like bowling. I think I like doing bowling, and like I wish I had more time to do like. I do like playing racquetball and bowling, but like I just don't have the time to really go out and do it. And I don't really, because you can go bowling by yourself, but it just like, I don't know, it just seems like meh, like it just seems weird. And then racquetball, you definitely need to have at least one other person with you. And then
yeah.
And then since we had our kids, because me and my wife, we would play racquetball all the time, but now it's like we have to have someone to watch our boys if we were gonna go. So like it really just just don't have the time to go.
I see, I see. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Both those things seem really fun though. So I mean, whether it be dabbling in some editing or getting into one of those, I hope that at least one of them comes to fruition, even if it's just for a moment.
I hope so too. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll get back into racquetball eventually. I think really what's gonna come down to is just, I think when my oldest son gets a little bit older and he's able to kind of like be here by himself, I think that's gonna kind of like really like free up the time. But I mean, he's only 3, so we're talking
Oh,
at least another couple of years.
I see. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wasn't aware of how young your child was, but yeah, I imagine that's quite the task. And honestly, very, very respectable. I think I have conversations with people my age and a bit younger, and there is, I feel, a trend of people not wanting to have kids, or at the very least not wanting to have them like immediately. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, not at all. But it does definitely make me respect the people who do want to have kids, or the people who do have kids right now. I have a great respect for them, because yeah, it's definitely like a full-time job. On top of, you still need a full-time job in order to support the child. So yeah, I have mad respect for you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, how can I word it? It's just like I definitely understand when people say, you know, you don't want kids. Like, hey, listen, you don't want kids. That's your life, whatever. I can't stand when people go down the path where like, oh, you need to have kids. Oh, like you're not gonna have children. That's unbelievable. Like, leave them alone. Like you don't know their reasons why. I mean, a pretty good one. I mean, for most of us, because we're all in, you know, Zach's community. I mean, he's definitely mentioned a few times that he's like gone back and forth about it, because like, you know, he has he has type 1,
Yeah, he has
right? Type 1 diabetes. Yeah, so he's like, he doesn't want to pass that down. I 100% respect that, you know. And then if people like try to force that down your throat, like, oh, you need to have kids. We're not here just to keep, you know, having kids in perpetuity. Like, you know, I understand, like, you know, we do want to keep the human race going, you know, like type of thing, but like not everyone's gonna have kids, man. It's not for everyone. And then you also see all these unfortunate stories where people have kids and they just don't take care of them, or they do awful things. Like I literally just saw it today when I was on my lunch break. I watched a clip from Inside Edition where this girl, she was 17 and she took her baby and put it in a dumpster. I'm like, how can you do that to a human life? That's insane. Yeah. And then when she's at the court, she's like, you know, I'm so sorry I did all this. But like, again, it's just like, it's such like a generic letter. Like, you have no remorse. You knew what you were doing. That type of thing just like, just gets me so fucking mad and just upset with that type of thing.
No, rightfully so. Yeah. I think on top of the fact that some people may not desire or need kids, even those who do want to have kids, there's definitely an appropriate time to do so. And sometimes if your timing is not appropriate, like you're diminishing the value of your child's life, because you're not able to give the full support that you would have been able to give if you just like waited a bit. And obviously, some people, it's like out of their control, and stuff like that. But if given the means, I think it's important to recognize when it would be appropriate. Because I guarantee you that may have been a deciding factor for that girl, where maybe having kids is a fine thing to do for her. Just it wasn't meant to be now. So yeah. But anyway, kind of went off topic there, but I definitely enjoy when stuff like that happens. Like I definitely enjoy if I ask a question and then somehow it goes over in this direction. So I don't discourage that at all. But with that being said, I did want to additionally ask on the topic of these pretty basic questions. Did you have a favorite TV show as a kid?
As a kid, I'm trying to think. I loved so many cartoons when I was a kid. I know like a big one that came to that I don't even have to look up. Just I have an answer, but I'm gonna like look it up to see exactly when it came out, and I have just like to make sure.
Yeah.
That was high school. I can't say that. I would say probably like as a kid, I would say probably Angry Beavers. Is that time wise makes sense? Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. I like Angry Beavers. I like Hey Arnold. I like, you know, the old school Nickelodeon cartoons and stuff like that. I really was into those types of shows.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. What was the show that you began watching in high school?
Megas XLR.
I'm familiar.
You don't know about that one?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, it's such a trip. Okay, so basically the premise is this dude finds how's it go down? There's this giant like alien war that's happening, and the race that's trying to defeat the aliens has this giant robot called Megas. And when the girl goes to pilot it, the robot's head gets decapitated basically off of the body, and then the robot gets sent back through a time portal into this junkyard in New Jersey. And this guy, I forget his name, the main character's name, but he finds it, and he basically takes his old car and puts it on top of the robot, and now he has a mech with a car head, and he basically, it just is a bunch of shenanigans that they just do. It's so weird, the whole premise of it, but man, it was such a cool show. I love that show. It only had 2 seasons, but what a ride.
Wowie pops, dude. Yeah, that seems wild. What a premise for a show. Vale says, what was that show with the giant talking rats with robot arms? Kind of similar to TMNT?
Talking rats or robot arms? I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm unfamiliar. I don't know. But yeah, Angry Beavers. Would you say that you're more into like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, or Disney?
I was never a Disney kid. I never watched Disney like at all. Like I think I may have had the channel at my house, but like I just didn't watch it, didn't really know about it or anything like that until maybe like high school. And at that point I was like, that's past my time. I would say I definitely was a Nickelodeon kid growing up for sure. But once I got into high school and stuff like that, then I started going more Cartoon Network, especially when they had Adult Swim and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. I hear that. I although at the time Adult Swim was like at its peak during this time where I'd have to watch it if my parents were asleep. I definitely really enjoyed the shows that came on there. So yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing. But if I may move on, I have another question to ask, and that would be this. On an upcoming weekend, if you had the choice between a weekend at the beach, a weekend in the woods, or a weekend of playing video games, and you'd be doing this with friends, which of these sounds the most appealing?
Probably weekend in the woods. I think that's most appealing, because games I do all the time. I'm not really a beach guy, and I do enjoy going camping and stuff like that when I can. I haven't been in a while, but I do like doing that. I think that's most fun. I've never like rented like a cabin or anything like that. I've always done like tent camping and things like that, but I like being out in like the wilderness, no one's around, away from everyone, away from the noise, all that stuff. I just like being secluded, not have to worry about any of that type of stuff.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I like it. When thinking about the woods, is your mind immediately in the headspace of like you're kind of like camping in tents, or you're spending time in a cabin?
And for me, it goes to being a tent, because like I said, I've never rented a cabin. I think I may have stayed in like a cabin once, and all the time I've done camping, but I've ever since like I was a kid, whenever I've gone camping, it was like always tense.
Ah, I see.
All the time.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Thank you for sharing. So, moving on, let me ask you, do you have a favorite animal or type of animal?
I love penguins.
Do you? Nice.
Yeah, I love penguins. Yeah, penguins are probably my favorite animal. Where is he? So hold on, let me go grab him real quick. I can post a picture in the Discord if you want. I'll take it.
Yeah.
For my birthday last year, so my favorite animal is a penguin, and my favorite dinosaur is a T-Rex. So, my oldest, he was looking online with my wife to get me something for my birthday, and he found a penguin that's dressed up in like a dinosaur costume. Yeah, I'm gonna post it in the Discord right now. Yeah, I love this thing. It's so cool. I keep it next to my desk all the time. Let's see. Here we go. Pics and video.
Yeah, that works.
There you go. Yeah, but yeah, penguin.
Oh my god!
I love penguins, man.
Dude, that is sick. Dude, it's so cute.
Yeah.
My god, that's sick. That is lovely. It's funny that you say it's penguins. I think when I was younger, like in elementary school, for no reason I had a fascination with penguins, and so in 6th grade I think we had to choose an animal to do like a little project on, and I was like, easily penguin. They were like, well, what kind? I was like, I don't know. Oh, emperor penguin sounds cool because it's the emperor.
It's the leader.
Yeah. And so yeah, I also think that penguins are sick nasty. Freaking imagine just like casually traversing on your fucking belly. Like who else does that? Well, I mean, like seals and other kind
seals.
of like
yeah.
But
That's about it,
but it's rare. And it is cool. So yeah, good stuff. With that being said, though, I want to hop into some hypotheticals here. The first one being on topic, and that is, if you could be reincarnated as an animal, which one would it be? Do you think that you choose penguin?
That's a good one. No, I think I'd rather be incarnated in like a different type of like bird where actually I can like actually fly type thing. I think that would be a lot cooler because I've always like enjoyed the idea of like a flight type thing. So I think I would rather be going that type of way of like a different type of animal reincarnation or something like that.
I see. Yeah, no, fair enough. I like the answer. Yeah, I bring up that question in immediate response to that first one because I think there is sometimes like a disconnect. You can have like a favorite animal, but it's not necessarily that you envy its life, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I respect the answer for sure. Moving on to another hypothetical here. If you could win big money, if you could remain in a room with access to only one video game to play for 21 days, food and water supplied so you don't need to leave, what video game are you choosing to keep you entertained?
I feel like it's cheating, but it just came out. The Mega Man Battle Network collection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I really got into the series when I was in middle school, and the main collection is it's Mega Man Battle Network 1 through 6. So it's basically 6 games. So I think I can, for 21 days, I think I can get by with 6 games through that time frame. I think it's kind of cheating a little bit.
Nah, I would count it. I'd say fair enough.
Okay. all right. I was gonna say if I had to choose one game, I'll change it. But if you're gonna let it slide, then I'll let it go.
Yeah. No, I definitely accept it. Usually how it's gone is I allow people to give 2 answers. One, like an online game, because usually that's the first thing that people come to mind. And then like a single player, like you'd play offline type of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So single player wise, then yeah, Mega Man Battle Network definitely for sure. Online, I hate to say it, but I'm a Fortnite boy.
Hey, I wasn't until this season, but then this season I went absolutely crazy. I'm already over level 100.
Ooh, I'm close. I'm like 96 or 97 right now.
Let's go, dude.
Hell yeah.
6 games in 1, hacker, man. No, I respect it. I think it's a fine choice. But yeah, I was never really into Fortnite. I played like once every like 3 months when one of my friends like forced it upon me. But for some reason I got into it this season. I don't even really know why. I think it was just one of those things where I knew that Aaron was coming. The update where they took away, I started playing like a little bit right before this update came, so I began to play when like that hammer was still around, where you smack the ground and lets you traverse.
Yeah.
When the All Might ability of like the punch was there.
Yep.
I even have a clip of something silly happening with that, and so I began playing at that moment. But then, as soon as that ended, the next season started, I was like, I'm going crazy. And so I respect the Fortnite pick for sure.
Yeah, man. Ever since they did no build mode, I've been playing since day one, but like no build, like just really like just made the game so much better, and it's just people clown on it, but honestly, Fortnite's been probably one of the most consistent games that's been out in the longest time. Yeah, sure. Things are expensive and like, for skins, but at the end of the day, it's a free to play game. You don't have to pay anything for it, and they give you a lot of content in it that you don't have to pay for.
No, you're large truing. You are truing. Or truge rather.
Truged.
If we're talking to BCOT, we always got to do the GE at the end at the end of
That's
words.
That's right.
But good answers. Let me ask another hypothetical here, and that would be this. You encounter and befriend an alien. They can provide one of 3 services. 1, supply unlimited services of a cook for 6 months, and you don't have to pay for groceries. 2, work as you at your job for 6 months, and do it exactly as you would, so no one would suspect it's not you. Or 3, have access to their spaceship for 6 months that takes you anywhere on Earth, not space, and you'll never get caught. You don't need to try to be sneaky with it.
I think I would probably do the travel one. I think that would be cool. Yeah, the grocery one makes probably the most sense. I think it saves a lot of money, but
Especially for a family.
Yeah, and then work wise, I'm like, I don't know, like there's days that my job stresses me out, but like I don't mind working, type thing. But I think having access to be able to travel, go wherever you want, whenever you want, type thing, that just is really cool. And there's just so many places that I want to go to that I haven't got a chance to gone to yet. So I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I hear you out 100%. I've asked this question to a good amount of people by this point, and the spaceship is definitely the most popular, I would say. And then, yeah, I think the way I order them 1, 2, 3 is actually least popular, most popular. So the least chosen thing is the chef services. The second is the job, and then the most popular is definitely the spaceship. But the spaceship definitely makes sense. Obviously, you still got to be working and stuff like that, but it's one of those things where it's like as soon as the weekend hits, you can like take your family to like go someplace. Let's go.
Exactly.
And then yeah, it's very convenient, or at the very least, it offers the most unique experience out of the 3. I would say.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so I did not write this question specifically for you, but you know what? In hindsight, maybe I did. And that's this. If I, or anyone, but maybe me, were to take you out on a date, what are some things that would be crucial to know or very helpful? And by this, I'm trying to ask, do you have any pet peeves or icks in people?
Do I have any icks? I would say, trying to think. I would say probably It's funny because like I know I'm definitely guilty of it. I've done it a few times myself, but like I don't know. I guess it's kind of ironic that I think this is a pet peeve. But like I think one of the things that I can't stand is like if you're telling a story, you're like talking about, and like you keep getting cut off or something like that. I'm like, please stop. I'm like, let me get my thought out, please. Like I just, I hate like that. Like I've I've had this conversation with Ashley, that's my wife, a few times, and she's just like, she'll tell me, it's like, don't do that. Like, sorry, my bad. I've definitely done it. Like I'll do it like when I'm excited and things like that. But like if like it happens to me like at work all the time, I'm just like, okay, but please, I'm trying to get like my thought as to why I need to do this, and they're like, just, well, no, you need to do that. I'm like, no, please, let me get there. I promise you, I'm gonna get there.
Yeah. That's funny. No, very, very fair. Yeah, some people, the ebb and flow of a conversation does not come naturally to some people. Or like you said, it's like sometimes you're just like very passionate or very excited, and you really want to get something out, but it's not always the most appropriate. So yeah, that's a very fair ick, I'd say. 100%. That's a decent pet peeve to have. So good answer. Let me ask you another question then. If you could be a successful musical artist in any music genre, which genre of music would you choose?
Huh. That is a good one. I've actually never thought of like anything musically wise like that. I don't know. I would say if I were gonna pick a genre, I would probably say jazz. I think.
Ooh.
I really do like jazz music. I really like brass instruments a lot. When I was in elementary school, I did learn trombone for a little bit, and then when I went to middle school, they like had band for like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I was in band for 6th grade, but then I got cut for 7th, and then after that, I was like, I don't care about learning trombone anymore. They're playing. I just totally just lost it. But like looking at it now, I'm like, I kind of wish I stuck to it because I just hated practicing. That's really what it is. I just hated practicing the instrument, but I do just enjoy like the different like sounds that you get from jazz. There's just so many different like levels to where it's like kind of like happy type of music to like kind of like sad. It has good ranges. I do like that one.
Yeah, no. Good. As Trekkie says, good answer. And then, Vale, I forgot to read your comment out loud while we were still on topic, but the second I clock out, I'm flying the spaceship to a brewery in Germany.
Of course he is.
That's funny. But yeah, I don't know if you were here for the moment that Trekkie answered this question, but he actually said the same thing. Jazz, and you said something else, Trekkie. I'm so sorry that I forgot immediately. But one of the things was jazz. Piano. Piano and then jazz.
Piano would be that's a good answer. Good answer, Trekkie. Good answer.
Good answer. So yeah, I agree. I think jazz definitely offers something unique or fulfilling at the very least if you were guaranteed to be successful. So yeah. So with that being said, let me also ask, do you have a bucket list, Shiny, or are there a list of items that you think that you really want to get done before your time is done?
My biggest one is I want to go to Japan. That's a big one for me. I want to go so bad, and just every time I think I'm going to be able to go, I'm not able to go. Something happens. Well, that's a big one for me. I really want to go there because I just really liked like the architecture there. I just like I can't think of the words for it, but like I just like a lot of the stuff that they have there. It just seems like a really fun place to go. My friend Steve, he's gone a couple times, and he's told me that he had such a good time both times he's gone. I'm just like, one day.
One day. I have faith in the one day.
Culture. That's it.
The culture. Yeah, for sure. I agree. But Yeah, I think it's not a dream so outlandish that I think you'll have to jump through hoops in order to achieve it. I think it's more so just a matter of time and planning. So I hope that works out.
I hope so too. But really, I like as for like a bucket list type thing, like besides that, I mean, I don't think I really have anything. I mean, I don't know if it's like a sad answer or something. Okay, Monique, thanks. Anyway, so I don't know like if it's sad having this type of answer, but like I don't really feel like I like. There's nothing I could think of that like, I really want to do because like I kind of like I feel satisfied right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's really like nothing that like I yearn for that like man I really want to do this or do that except for like going to Japan. Like there's nothing that comes to my mind immediately that like I want to make sure I do before I die because like I feel like for the most part I kind of like hit the notes that I kind of wanted to do, so like I just can't think of anything besides that.
No, fair enough, fair enough. If anything, that's a great spot to be in. So I'm happy to hear that. So that's kind of it for a hypothetical portion of this interview. Now I'm going to be heading to a bit more serious questions. So I do want to reiterate that if at any given point you want to give like pretty minimal information, or if you just straight up did not really want to answer something, please feel free. I don't want to put a pressure on you in that sense. But with that being said and stated, the first thing that I want to ask in regards to that is there something that you know that you stressed over a lot, but you look back on it now and realize there's no reason to get that worked up?
I would say that's a good one. I can't think of one. I'm trying to think really.
And you know, that's okay. Sometimes it's not something that can easily come to the forefront of your mind when asked on the spot. So we can go ahead and move on. But if it is something that at some point it does come back to you, we can go ahead and head back to that sort of topic, you know?
Yeah, I think I do have one. I mean, it's kind of a cliche answer thinking about it because, like, I'm really just like, was I really stressed during it? I mean, it would probably be during like my wife's first pregnancy, like being worried about having a child come into life. Like, oh my God, am I gonna be a good father? Oh my God, am I gonna know what I'm gonna do? This type of situation. Do we have a good house for them? Do we know what we're doing? No, we don't. But like, are we gonna be okay? And it just works. We're fortunate that it just works for us type thing. But like, yeah, looking at it now, and especially, which I mean, depending on another question later or want to discuss it now, with our second child, like that situation was like way worse than the first time. So like, I was super stressed over the first child for nothing. Then the second one was like just got a little crazier.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, definitely a big moment in your life. So I feel like any stress surrounding that sort of time is definitely valid. But there's definitely the idea that hindsight is 2020, where it's like, all right, I definitely could have kept more of a level head. So no, I think it's definitely a reasonable answer to give. Yeah. So with that being said, let me also ask, if it was guaranteed to happen, what would you want to be, career or otherwise?
If it was a guarantee. I don't know. I think it sounds kind of silly, but I don't know. I think being able to like kind of like own like your own like business, like I always found like the like delicatessen culture, like that whole type of thing interesting, and like I wouldn't mind being able like to actually like if I knew what I was doing, like be able like to own like my own like deli or potentially like a small chain of delis or something like that. So it's not like like a full chain, like I don't know, like it's a different genre, but like like a fast food place like Wendy's or things like that. But like it was just like maybe like 5 in like a local like New York area or something like that. I think
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool because I when I was in high school and early college, I worked at a deli and like I loved it. And
Nice.
it was cool. I just really liked it, type of thing. I just like just doing that type of work. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. I like the answer. Despite Vale saying typical Italian response, I think I think that's a good one. I like it a lot. Okay, so let me move on to say, if I were to ask you, Shiny, what is your most memorable achievement, or what is your biggest regret? Which one of these questions do you think that you'd be more readily able to answer?
I'm trying to think. I would say probably my biggest achievements
Okay.
is probably being able to get a house. Like that in itself was like a mission and a half. And I think time wise, it really worked out because we got our house right before the pandemic started. And that's like when like it really like that's when the market kind of like boomed and everyone was trying to get their own houses and things like that. And just I know, and like especially still now, it's really like hard to get a house. And it's tough for everyone. Like it's so hard for people to be able to save up enough to be able to move out. And rents being tripled, almost everywhere. Just it's hard to just be able to do it. And just I'm very fortunate that we were able to do that. I would say that's a pretty good accomplishment or achievement that I was able to do. It's not just me; it's like me and my wife were able to do that. So I would not have been able to do that by myself.
Yeah, I agree. It is a huge achievement. You should certainly be proud, and I'm happy that that worked out for you. I really am. That's really cool. Vale saying, "Nah, I kid. That would be sick." Oh yeah, Vale. I'm just poking fun at you. Don't worry. But yeah, no, I think that's a great answer indeed. Not that I really want to pry, but if I were to ask, what is your biggest regret? Is that something that you'd be comfortable sharing?
No, I mean, I definitely can answer it. I just have to think like what a big one. I would say probably, what is my biggest regrets? I would say I don't know. It's I would say probably like my biggest like regret. I don't know if like how big of like a grandeur type thing is like I kind of wish I didn't go to college at all type thing because I feel like really like with what I do for my job, it's not needed at all. And when I went to a community college. I did that for 2.5 years, got my socials and liberal arts, the thing that pretty much you don't know what you're doing, that's the degree that you get. That's what everyone gets.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I still didn't really like know what I wanted to do career wise. So when I got out, my mom suggested like, well, why don't you go to this college? They have a paralegal program that's recognized by the state as like a legal program. It's like called like ABA certified, I think is what it was. And I was like, yeah, I think that's interesting. I'm down to check it out. So I did that for a year. I got my certificate, and like I actually was in that job field for 3 years, and that destroyed me.
Ooh.
Because so hold on. I get a little worked up about that part.
No, don't worry. Take your time.
those 3 years were probably the worst, like, of my life.
Hmm.
I just remember coming home all the time being so depressed and sad. I hated my job and all that stuff. Just, it drove me up a wall. I just couldn't stand it. And then, one day I remember the day that I had enough. I was sitting at my desk at the law office I was working at, and then I remember I was on the phone. I was on the phone for some client. I forget what it was. It was a tax office that I worked for, and I was on the phone with the IRS for something. And I remember he wasn't my direct boss, but he was one of the partners of the firm. He comes over to me. He's like, "Hey, I need you to do this," and I said, I was like, "Tom, I'm on the phone." I mean, I'm not gonna say his last name, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
I was like, "Tom, I can't. I'm on the phone." And then he's like, "I need you to do it now." So like, I muted the phone. I said, "Tom, I can't. I'm on the phone for such and such." And I remember he hangs up. He goes over to my phone. He clicks it. He says, "Now," and I was like, I just like. He like put like basically he wanted me like to like dig through like 3 or 4 boxes to find like some documents or something. I can't remember. So like minimal now is what it was. And I just remember I just took the stack of boxes. I walked into his office. It was maybe like 15 minutes past. I walked into his office and he said to me, he's like, "Did you find it yet?" And I remember just throwing all 3 or 4 boxes on his desk. And I said, "Go fuck yourself. I quit." And I walked out and I just was like, I went home. I told my wife, girlfriend at the time, what happened. And she's like, "So are you really quitting?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then she's like, "Are they going to let you back in tomorrow?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not thinking about it." So I remember my boss directly calls me. He's like, "Hey, listen, I heard what happened." He's like, "You really can't do what you did." And I said, "I don't care. I did what I did. I'm not apologizing for it. He can't talk to me that way." And then I remember I did not talk to that guy for probably a month. And I was there for probably another 2 months at that point, which is when I was able to leave and I got to the credit union I work for now. But I just remember that was like, I was there for 3 years, and that was like the I need to get the hell out of here. I just couldn't take it. Yeah.
No, you have my sympathies for sure. I haven't had the misfortune of having to deal with such a terrible workplace, but I do know of other people, and everyone has their own experiences. So you definitely have my sympathy, because no one should have to go through that. Like you're at a place, you're at a professional business place, there to do a job, and no one should have to be treated that way. So I don't know what that person had going on in their life, but surely they were not okay if they thought that it was
No.
okay to do that stuff to you. So
Yeah, not at all.
So I think it is good that you did what you did. I think that person needed something like that to occur. Otherwise, they may not have recognized, like, hey, I'm not treating people correctly. And I don't know where they are. Maybe they changed their life around. Maybe they're still the same person. Whatever. At the very least, you got out of there, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Though I don't have my own story to tell, the person that I actually moved in with is someone that I actually met from the stream. So I began streaming this game, Mario Tennis Aces, and this gentleman, his name's Mike, came in, began watching me, and we both ended up being accountants. Or at the time, I was still studying to be an accountant. He was an accountant, and we just became pretty friends pretty quickly. I streamed on West Coast time. He was on the East Coast. And I wasn't able to stream until like 8 p.m., which means like 11 p.m. His time. But he still kind of watched me. And I kind of found that I didn't really acknowledge it at the time, but that was kind of strange. He watched me for like these deep hours of the night, even though like he had a professional job. And later on, I came to find out that part of the reason why he was so susceptible to staying up so late was because he hated his job so much that he just desperately did not want to go to sleep, because he knew that he's going to have to go to work as soon as he wakes up. So he wanted to
Yeah.
delay going to bed as much as possible. And at that time, it was watching me that facilitated that. And you know, like, I don't think he had an experience as tragic as yours. But I think he can definitely relate to the fact that going into work was a trial in and of itself. You just really did not want to go there anymore. And fortunately, he got out of there, and fortunately, you did as well. And that definitely seemed like a very heavy thing to talk about. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Of course.
Yeah. We do still have some questions to go through here. So let me see. I'm cycling up and down my 2 pages here, kind of like bouncing back and forth between them. The next thing I want to ask you, would you say that you're content with what you've done with your life so far?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm finally in a position of my company that like I've been wanting to get into for the longest time. You know, I have a wonderful wife and best friend. I have 2 kids. I love my little family that I have here. I would say I'm pretty damn content. I mean, the only thing I would complain about is, I would like to get more money from work. But who wouldn't? But
yeah, right.
Other than that, no, I'm pretty good.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I like that. It's always nice to hear when someone is, always like just a bit content. The contentment comes in a variety of ways. But I'm glad to hear that you're all well and good on that front for the most part. This will sound strange, Shiny, but I had a boss like that at New Line, and I didn't have the courage to tell them to go F themselves. And I imagine that you really didn't want to, Trekkie. Yeah, I think in relation to that sort of thing, you see it like sometimes like it gets exaggerated on like TV shows or sitcoms of like people have like this fantasy of their head. It's like, oh, this is exactly what I would do. I'd say F you to like this boss in this way. Well, oftentimes they'll never do it. They'll keep it to themselves or bottle it up, and maybe eventually they'll just like leave the job and not make much noise about it. But people always have like that fantasy sometimes of like, ooh, I would say F you if I could. And then you went ahead and did it. Which honestly, that's courageous.
It was 3 years of just bottling up. There's just so much shit that just went on in that office that like I really can't believe I stuck around as long as I did. But it was a job. It paid bills that I had. I had to do. I mean, I won't go for really further into it, but like basically the woman who trained me, she was with the company for probably like 5 or 6 years. She got fired on the spot the first week I was training on that Friday, and it was such a crazy thing. Like I don't 100% remember exactly what it was, but it was like something like she didn't schedule something or whatever, and then like she said something to him, and then he says like, why don't you just get out? And she's like, maybe I will. He's like, all right, good, goodbye, get out. And like she's, well, no, I'm not gonna leave. He's like, no, you said already, get out. And I remember he's just like, you're fired, get out. And this is me day one. I'm just like, oh my god, what am I getting myself? Like really day 5, really. But at this point, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I should have taken that as the sign to get out, and I didn't. I stuck to that job way longer than I should have. That was like the telltale sign. I should have left, but I was like, that won't happen to me, right?
Oh man, what a trial. Definitely glad you came out the other side though. With the way that you were talking about contentment, I am curious because obviously we develop contentment just because of we know where we came from and here we are now, and we're content with where we are now because of the things that happened in our past. Which is why I'm curious when I ask you this question. If you could meet your 10-year-old self, but they would not know that it's you, what is some knowledge or advice that you would try to pass on? Or do you not try to pass on anything at all?
Little shiny, let me tell you one thing. When you have some money, I need you to invest in Amazon. No, but really, a real answer. I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to say anything because, like, I kind of like. I hate sounding kind of like cliche about it, but like, I don't know if I want to. If you give your past self something, you can cause the ripple effect or the butterfly effect,
Yeah.
and it might change the trajectory of your life. And like, I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, shit. I mean, I hated my experience that I went through for my job. I mean, I mentioned like I had a regret going to college, but like at the same time, would I tell myself not to go to college? Because I mean, who knows if I didn't do that, if I didn't hit that low point, where would I be? Maybe, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if I want to necessarily change anything.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you out. There is definitely some scary situation that could occur. It's definitely something to keep in mind. I think one thing that got brought up when I asked this question previously was if I were to say something to my 10-year-old self, because I share your mindset where I would try not to say anything at all. I would try to say something in regards to something that I already know is going to happen. So, for example, like in high school, I was really into like vocab in English. I was really interested in trying to learn words for the sake of being a bit more articulate. So my advice would be like, hey, like, open up a dictionary and just read it, dude. Or something along those lines. Something to where it's not going to actually influence anything, any major point in my life, but maybe something that I know that I'm already interested in. Like I began writing like poetry a bit. So maybe I'd say like, hey, you're going to, or not that I would know. He doesn't know that it's me. Poetry is really interesting. You should get into it. And maybe to like, get the wheels turning sooner, even though it's already going to happen. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I would think about them like, hey, you're not bad at playing the trombone. You should probably stick with that for a little bit longer. Maybe stick with that. Go with that.
Yeah. No, good answer. I like it. Let me see here. Just a moment. Okay, let me go ahead and ask you this question. If you could change or improve one thing about yourself, what would you choose, whether it be physical or personality-wise?
I would say I would like to change my like, I guess, how can I word it? Because I get talked about this at work all the time. I wish I didn't come off so abrasive all the time with a lot of conversations that I have. So the reason I say that is because my line of work is I am a fraud specialist for my credit union. So basically what I do is that one of the things, like, there's multiple things that get split between the people in my department, but what falls to me is that I usually review checks. That's a big one for me.
Okay.
So like I'll see a check and I'll be like, okay, this looks pretty sketchy right off the bat, and then like I will do an extended hold, and then my job is to reach out to the person and say, hey, where did you get this, type thing. And then like when I asked them, where did you get this? And like they give me an answer like, oh yeah, I'm not kidding. This is a real answer I got from someone. They said, yeah, my grandma gave this to me. I'm like, your grandma gave you a fraudulent check for $40,000. Yeah. Why? Oh, to buy a car? What's your grandma's name? Why do you need to know? And like I'm just like, when they start like playing like dumb, like they know I'm onto them, like that's when like I start getting like a little more stern in my voice. And like my managers come up and told me, she's like, listen, I think you're doing great, but you need to not come at them so hard with some heat, because by you doing that, they're gonna shut down more. I'm like, like it's in my mind, I go to, but I know they're doing it. Like I know that they did it. They did it. And then she's like, I understand that, but you don't know what the scammer or the fraudster has said to them to make them do that type thing. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So like, I'm trying to work on my phone calls where I'm not as abrasive, and I feel like I am getting better. But there's like definitely some times I'm just like, I can't not be abrasive. I just gotta,
yeah,
just gotta get.
No, I see. No, it definitely makes sense. In that line of work, it's like you're essentially catching someone red-handed, or a lot of times you can tell that that's the case, even though maybe you don't know 100%. Even still, I'm sure you've known enough to where it's like, I have seen this before. I know that this is fishy. So it's hard to give people like the benefit and the doubt. And especially if they give you like sus answers. Yeah, I think I may come across a very similar way. Or rather, I think I know for sure that I would, because already right now in my line of work, I have like conversations with people in order to get stuff done. And a lot of times they come at me and they're like, oh, say hi, how are you doing? As like their first message. And then they'll tell me what's wrong in the second message. I'll never reply to the first message. I won't tell them how I'm doing. I'll just like immediately respond to what they're actually wanting to ask me. So like in regards to this, the thing you asked me, this. They're trying to be polite by saying like good morning or saying hi, how are you, or whatever. But dude, I hate it. Don't do that. I just wish that they would just straight up tell me the problem so I could just respond to the problem. And I feel so bad. I'm sure there's some people that I interact with, especially because some people I actually have never interacted with in person. It's only through email or like through Teams, that they probably think I'm such a dickhead. They'd be like, dude, this guy is so like impolite. So, I mean, I definitely resonate with what you're saying there, and I think if I was in your shoes, I'd kind of be the same way. So, if you get better and you realize some tips and tricks to help out, please let me know.
Will do. I'm still working on it. I'll let you know.
Oh, man. Well, then. Let me see here. Another fine question for you, Shiny. In your opinion, if you had to choose from like a list of items that you may have thought of, what is one thing that makes life valuable?
Ooh. Probably the connections that you make with people. I would say is probably a solid one, because I mean, I've had this conversation with Vale before, and I've had it with a couple people in my chat as well as all, you know, Zach chat and like that. It's just like, since coming into Zach's community, and just like there's just so many like great people and connections that I've made with so many great people, and just like having so many great online friends, as well as just a lot of, you know, maintaining my, I've had the same, like, I would say probably like 8 to 10 friends like since elementary school. I'm still friends with them. We don't all necessarily hang out with each other anymore, because like the friends group kind of like has split, kind of done their own things. Not everyone has talked to each other, but like I still like maintain the connections with everyone. But like I just really like enjoying having the connections that I made with people online and in person, because it just like, it definitely makes life better, because like just I would just like hate being alone. Like that's just such like a sad thing. And like, I don't mean like alone like you live by yourself or something like that, but like no, like alone like you do live by yourself, like you have like no friends, no family that's like you have anyone to talk to, that type of situation.
Yeah. No, I hear you at 100%. I think when I answered this question, I said something very, very similar. I think the interactions with people definitely makes life worth living, or at the very least makes life that much more valuable. Because yeah, I inherently do like being alone. I'm an ambivert in the sense that I love social interaction, but I do love to be a recluse. I do love to be by myself. But I can't feed into that too much, because I know how lovely it is just to speak with people. Just have even a conversation like this with you is a tremendous experience. So I'm right on board with you.
I definitely can respect that because there's definitely so many times where like I'll have like a friend who comes out of town and he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna be around this weekend. You want to hang out?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it's like, "What day?" I'm like, "Saturday." He's like, "Yeah." And then Saturday comes and I'm just like, "Shit, I did agree to that, huh?
Yeah.
Shoot, I just want to stay home and play Fortnite, man.
Yeah.
Jeez."
No,
You know?
I hear you. Yeah. What was the term you just said? Like my personality, an ambivert. There's introverts, extroverts, and then ambivert is the in between. Introverts, where they recharge their battery by being alone. Extroverts who recharge their battery by being extroverted. And myself, who I definitely need the balance of both. If I were to be completely one side or the other, it would be draining. For me to be always social would be draining. For me to always be alone would be draining. I need the balance in order to be charged. At least that's the way I believe I am. I think as I'm getting a bit older, I'm more leaning towards introvert. But then at the same time, here I am loving streaming and putting my face on camera, so that's a pretty extroverted personality type of thing to do. So I don't know. I don't know. But in any case, let's get back on topic here. I have for you the final 3 questions. Is that right? 1, 2, and 3. No, actually, there's 4. There's 4. So let me go ahead and ask you this, Shiny. Are you religious, or were you raised in a religious household?
I'm not religious. I wouldn't say I was necessarily like raised religious. I did for Christianity, I did a communion. I did what I don't know, I don't even know what it's called. It's like the older one. I might be getting things mixed up, but like there's the older one when you're like in like high school that you go to. I forget that. I did that too. But like after, no, like I don't. Confirmation, thank you, Shrekky. Yeah, I did that, but like no, like after I did confirmation, got out of high school, didn't care about religion. Doesn't whatever. Yeah, I mean, I technically I celebrate Christmas because that's how I was raised. My wife's that's what we do. That's here, but we more so like we don't really celebrate as the religious aspect of like Jesus' birthday or anything like that. We just use that as like the spend time with family, gifting each other things, that type of situation. But like, yeah, I don't care about religion like whatsoever. You know, you do what you want to do. You celebrate, you know, whatever you want. That's all you. As long as you're being a good person, that's cool. But like, yeah, I don't, and don't push your religion on me. I don't. I hear what you're selling, but I don't want it. You know, I always get the not the slight thing, but like I always get, like, I would say probably once a month I always get Jehovah's Witnesses at my door. And I'm just
really?
like, please, please stop. Yeah, I'm just like, I just don't. And like I gotta one of these days I gotta get the no soliciting sign to put on my door.
Oh wow,
like,
wait.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I tell you, it's like at least once a month. I'm like, just stop. Like, yeah, I don't care about religion whatsoever.
Yeah, I can imagine that'd be pretty irritating if it's that consistent. Wow, we.
Yeah, especially in the winter. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, it's so cold. Why are you here?
That is funny. Yeah, no, I definitely respect the thought process there, you know. It's one of those things where if you're engaging yourself in a way where, like you said, you're being a good person, or you're allowing yourself to develop in some way or other. For some people, they need that religion in order to strive to better themselves. For some people, that's definitely not the case. And so whatever path, I think both are completely respectable. For transparency, I am religious, and so I would say that I am a Christian. But it's never something that I really advertise. It's never one of those things where it's like I'm holding up this sign, being like, "Hey, did you guys know?" If anything,
you heard about the Book of the Lord?
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where I feel like there's definitely a time and place to share, and a lot of times, if you were to share in an inappropriate time, if anything, you're just going to make someone more turned off. You know. For example, the Jehovah's Witness at your door. And so, yeah, it's one of those things where I'd love to be able to give the opportunity to share some things, but I know that a lot of times it's just not the time or place. And so the least that I can do is just live my life in a way where I'd hope that people could see. It's like, oh, you know what? I like the way that person conducts themselves. And they align themselves with this. So I now have a more positive outlook towards that thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully from there, a bridge can be formed. And if sometimes that opportunity never arises, I can't be hung up over it, and I really choose not to, because sometimes it's just not my place. I recognize that. So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at. It's interesting you bring up the Jehovah's Witness, because when I was still in Southern California, very rarely they would come, but they did. And I remember at one point I humored them. I said hello. And I remember I was like, you know, they said that they're gonna come back. You know what? I'm gonna have some questions for them. And so I feel like at one point I was actually bugging them more than they were bugging me, because I was just really interested in the way that they saw things, because obviously they saw things differently than I did. And I've always been the type of person where it's like I always encourage different perspectives, because I think it's very easy, especially modern day internet being as prominent as it is, to live in an echo chamber. You really just only take in perspectives that align with what you have, you know?
Yep.
So I want to be able, I strive to be able to have conversations with people who think differently than me. And so, yeah, I remember asking some pretty tough questions to those Jehovah's Witnesses. And, yeah, I understand that, you know, that's definitely the way that I conduct myself. Like, I'm so, like, interested in stuff like that. And for other people, they're not. They don't give a hoot or holler. It's not for them. And, you know, I respect that. I respect that, too. 100%. But yeah, that's really the only reason why I kind of bring up a question like that. So, yeah, if you're willing to move on, I do have 3 final questions for you.
Yeah, of course.
And they are 3 different scenarios, I guess you can say. So let me hit you with this one first. If you and your best friend were tied to 2 separate train tracks, and the train is currently headed for you, but your arm can just barely reach a lever to switch the train to hit them instead, do you pull it?
Can I choose my friend? No, I'm kidding. Oh man, that's tough. That's a tough one. The good old trolley problem type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Depends on the friend.
exactly is why we're asking. No, I mean, it's no matter what answer you give, it's gonna be it's gonna go both ways. I mean, realistically thinking about it, I mean, I probably wouldn't pull it, and you know, unfortunately. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Wait, I just want to make sure the pull it would switch to the other track.
To pull it does switch to the other track, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like terrible, but like, you know, and selfish, but like, yeah, I would switch it. I mean, you know, type thing, because like I don't know. It just no matter what you say, it's gonna sound like an awful answer, but like, it's just like realistically, like, you know, at the end of the day, there's someone's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen, and realistically, in my position, I'm like, you know, depending on all my friends, yeah, we all could be in like this time situation. Trekkie kind of brings up a good point with that, and like, if like I'm compared to like my other friend who is a father, it's just like, you know, you know, we're both fathers. It's gonna be a really terrible situation, you know, no matter which way you're gonna do. But like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do to survive and be there for my family.
Yeah.
You know, and like, yeah, sure, it could be noble to sacrifice yourself so the other person can live, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, yeah, noble sacrifice is great and everything, but like, I love my family. I don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do to live.
Yeah. And you know, I don't think you need to feel bad at that answer at all. You say it's noble to self-sacrifice, and though that may have some truth to it, I do think there is also a noble action in switching it because you have a family, and because you know that you're the one who made this decision, so you're the one who carries that weight of that decision, and that in of itself is noble because it's like here you are bearing this burden for the sake of being there for your family. You say that there's no like right answer or you feel weird about it either way, but I think at the same time, either decision is not wrong either. Either way you put it, you're not in the wrong. It's really like a half glass full type of scenario. But I think in your position especially, I don't think there would be a wrong thing to say here. Because, yeah, I've asked this question to a few people, and you are the first father. And like you said, maybe depending on the friend, they are also a father. So there's all these different dynamics going on at play. And, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
But I respect the answer. Even still, 100%. And I don't think you need to feel strange about it. But with that being said, let me ask you another hypothetical, or give you another scenario here. Now, your partner has been kidnapped, and they're being held at location 30 minutes away. You're driving to rescue them. It's a warm night, and your windows are down. Do you listen to music on your drive there? Yes or no?
That is a great question. Oh man. Am I listening to music? Oh man. I probably would. I probably would. I would have to like get myself in like a good like mindset, but like, you know, like make sure like I'm listening to like the right tracks to be like this go like to get myself like not I wouldn't say hyped, but like get myself like mentally prepped, like get amped, ready to go. Like I don't know how this is gonna go. I gotta get ready. Like I need like type situation. I'm like, all right, like psych myself up. Like let's do this. Let's get in there. You know, because you don't know what's gonna go down. So I mean, yeah, I would probably listen to music because I can't just imagine just fucking sitting there just driving on the way or in absolute silence. It just I don't know. That just sounds so weird to me.
Yeah, for sure. No. Reasonable answer, you know? Depending on the situation. Honestly, I've asked this question such a wide variety of responses. Not even in the sense of yes or no, but in the reasoning behind it. So, yeah, I think to listen to music to, like, hype yourself up or to calm your nerves or something like that, or not listening to music so that you can stay focused or not listening because of this or that reason. Yeah, it really goes in a whole bunch of different directions. So, yeah. So you think that you might be listening to music. Since that's the case, what do you think you're listening to? Do you have anything in mind?
I knew it. I knew you were gonna ask it. Oh man! All right, let me look at my Spotify real quick. I have a great suggestion. It's the EP called "Perhaps I'll Rap" by a little indie creator named Zach.
Wow, I gotta check that out.
No, I'm trying to think. I think I have like a playlist. I haven't cracked it out in a while, but there was like a good playlist I had that was like of like electronic beats and stuff like that I would listen to, because like I used to be super into techno back in college and things like that, so I probably like listen to something like that to probably get myself hyped. But like I can't think of like a specific like playlist, but like some tracks I would probably listen to looking at it. Let's see, pretty much Dance with the Dead. I don't know if you ever heard of that band. Pretty
I
much
think
any
I have,
song
actually,
that
yeah.
any song that they have, that will get me there 100%.
Nice.
100%. Yeah, there's a song that they have called "The Man Who Made a Monster." I remember I went to Salem the 2019, right before the pandemic hit, for me and my wife's Uh, Actually, I think we just went just to go, actually, or it might have been for her birthday. I don't 100% recall when or why we went. But I remember we went to like this gothic clothing store, and they were playing some like decent music. And I remember that song came on. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but I'll drop the I could drop the link in here,
Yeah, sure.
in the chat. I just remember when this song came on, like something like flipped in my mind. I was like, what the hell is this? And I don't know. This is a song that like gets me like amped no matter any time I hear it. So I think if I were to get myself mentally like ready, like in the zone, like ready to go, it's pretty much anything by Dance with the Dead.
Oh, now that I see this album cover, yes, I've definitely heard of Dance with the Dead. 100%. Let me see. Can I play this from right here? Ah, dang it. Oh, wait, you know what I could have done? Because I was afraid of opening my Spotify app because I haven't opened it on my desktop. So,
oh, yeah.
I was afraid it was going to take 18 years to actually load, but since I have YouTube up, I can just type it in right here.
Oh, true.
The man who made a monster. Let me listen. Let me take a little peek.
Please.
Oh, I know this song. I do know this song. Yeah. Good song.
Great track.
I like it. I like it. Good choice. I like it. Okie dokies. That brings us to the final scenario, the final question. And you may have heard me tell it to Trekkie, but I shall repeat it here again. And it is this. If I was a sickly peasant boy designated by the aristocracy to carry messages back and forth for pennies, and you found me outside the city walls with a deep wound in my chest from a musket ball and a letter clutched in my hand, what would you do if I told you that my last dying wish was to have someone read this letter to me so I know that I died for something important? But you open it up and find a single large illustration diagram of an onion. Would you tell me what it was? What would you say to me?
I'm not gonna be able to give you an answer along the lines of Trekkie's. Trekkie's was god tier. Like I was here for that, and that just was such a damn good answer. I definitely would read it. I would say now, don't be shocked, but it is a picture of an onion. I know what you're thinking. My life has come down to delivering a picture of an onion. But what if I were to tell you that life is like an onion and there's many layers to life? Like an onion.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear.
Maybe someone was trying to explain life to their friends. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Wowee. You know what? Yeah. You know, and honestly, given the situation, there's no way that I would believe that I'm delivering just an onion. So surely I'd be like, there has to be some deeper meaning. So for you to say that would just get the cogs turning, and it's like, yeah. You know what? Maybe I did. I did die for something important here. Good answer. Decent answer. I like it. I liked it all a lot. That concludes everything that I had here prepared. And it was a wonderful conversation. So I want to thank you for your time.
Of course.
Yes.
For having me. I appreciate it. It was a good time. It was over an hour. I'll let it slide. You know, it's okay for now. Yeah.
Indeed it was. I apologize. But it was
good.
It was a good grand old time. So yes. If I ever do something like this in the future, I will definitely try to reach out again.
Yeah, I'd definitely be down.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear it. And so whether it be some other time or sometime soon, I will talk to you later.
All right. Have a good night. Thanks
Yeah,
for
you
having
too.
me.
Fair winds. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.